it has led to a whole lot of negative effects. So we want to look at how we can solve conflicts in our relationships, in our marriages, rather than creating a bigger one. So wherever you are, stay connected. And if you would like to be a part of the program, we have our numbers on the screen. You can send a text on any of those numbers on WhatsApp or a regular text message. For now, we cannot take calls, but you can please send your text messages on the numbers on your screen, both on the WhatsApp text messages and regular text messages. And if you would like to call at the end of the program, you can call the numbers also. These are our personal lines, and we'll be there to attend to you. Now let's get to the business of today. How can I solve conflict in a relationship without creating a bigger one? Firstly, let me establish that a conflict in a relationship can be defined as any kind of disagreement, any kind of struggles, or heated debate. You are debating over an issue in a way you are not supposed to. Heated debate between two people in a relationship. That could be husband and wife, or somebody who is engaged to be married. Yes, so it has to do with a disagreement, misunderstanding, or a heated debate between two people in relationship. This kind of conflict typically includes an argument or a continuous disagreement on an ongoing issue. An argument on an issue, but besides the argument, but a consistent or an ongoing disagreement on something. That is, on a particular issue concerning your relationship or your marriage, there is a disagreement. You have not come to an agreement on something, and that agreement keeps on. That is a conflict. However, I would like you to know that conflict, please note this, having understood what conflict is in the context of a relationship, I want you to know that conflict is normal in a relationship. Oh yes, it's normal. Misunderstanding is inevitable in a relationship. Every couple or those in relationship experiences conflict in one way or the other. That is, don't forget misunderstanding. Don't forget disagreement. Don't forget the definition we gave. Heated debate on something. It's heated. Don't forget a disagreement on an ongoing issue. Disagreement, misunderstanding. Please, not fight, not quarrels. Yeah, because it can lead to that, but that's not actually what we are talking about. It can lead to it, but that is not what I'm really talking about. But the basic understanding has to do with disagreement, has to do with argument, has to do with heated debate on an issue. Yes. So with this in mind, understand that it's normal to have sometimes this kind of flow, this kind of disagreement, this kind of misunderstanding. Why is it so? It is so because anytime you bring two independent people, adults, together in partnership or in relationship, there is likely going to be a friction. Yes, there is going to be a friction because of the diversities of opinion, their views, their way of life, their perception. So when two people come together either in partnership or in relationship, because of their individuality, because of their personality, because of the way they think, their mentality, because of who they are, their perception about things, about life, their value systems, and how they look at things, most likely there is going to be this kind of, from time to time, disagreement on issues, misunderstanding on issues. Not quarrel, not fight. Please get this. If that has been the order of the day in your family, in your life, then it's a serious situation. A situation where the man and his wife fights, or you are dating somebody and your misunderstanding will eventually lead to a fight and all of that, then your situation is critical. But outside that, which is not what we are talking about, it has to do with it's normal for that to happen. So when you consider the issue of conflict in a relationship, knowing that it's something that can happen, that happens naturally, something that should happen because of the differences of opinion, you will agree with me that conflict in any relationship can be very, very stressful. Obviously, it can be very, very stressful. It can put so much of strain on the relationship. But also, I have come to discover experientially, besides the stress and the tension that conflict brings into a relationship, on the other end, the positive side of it, it can also help to make the relationship stronger. Yes, somebody may ask, Pastor, what are you talking about? How can conflict help to make a relationship stronger? When you just said it is so stressful, it brings so much of tension and stress on the relationship. How does it make the relationship strong? It makes the relationship strong when the conflict, the misunderstanding, the disagreement, the argument brings the couples or those in relationship to the awareness of the problem. Because many times it is only in the midst of such conflict, such misunderstanding, that the couples can be awakened to the awareness of a basic problem that they have. So if there was no conflict, if there was no misunderstanding, if there was no argument, it would not have brought them to that place of knowing, oh yes, we have this problem. So it brings the couples to the awareness of the problem and the wisdom, the insight that is necessary to address it. That is the positive side of it. So the positive side of it helps the couples or those in relationship to come to the awareness of a problem that they have, and also brings them to the knowledge of the wisdom that is required, that is very necessary to solve it. In case you just tune in, this is the Singles and the Marriage Show, courtesy of Greater Evangelism World Crusade. This church is located at number 8 Edel Street, yes, off Campbell Street, by Dr. Wilfield's Hospital. So if you would like to be part of the show, you can please send your text on the numbers on your screen, regular text or the WhatsApp, and then we will read your comment or answer your questions as I progress. Normally on a Saturday like this, I used to be on why, but for certain reasons she traveled and so she's not here, but the God's work has to continue. So back to what I was saying. So the reason why it is necessary, because sometimes it helps you to know the problems that you have and the wisdom that is necessary to solve it. Therefore, we can say emphatically that conflicts most times in a relationship are good and are necessary in marriage, as long as, note this, note what I said here, what I wrote here, as long as they are managed and resolved healthily and maturely. The problem with misunderstanding, the problem with disagreement in a relationship or in a marriage, it is the immaturity that we bring into it. It is the immaturity we bring to it and the unhealthy approach that most times we bring into it. That is what has escalated it. And our topic is how to solve conflict in a relationship without creating a bigger one. So it is the immaturity, many times the unhealthy approaches that we bring into the conflict that makes what looks like a little problem escalating into something massive. And your people today who have suffered divorce, who are in pains, whose relationship has gone so bad from a little misunderstanding that they lacked the principles, the patience, the wisdom, the maturity to handle. So it has grown into something bigger, far beyond what they can handle. And that is why I came today to help you with principles and keys that will help you. And I believe that what we are sharing today is going to bless your life in the name of Jesus Christ. I'm going to go on the break right now. And then when I come back, we're going to be looking at what are the causes, what are the common causes of conflict in a relationship. What causes it? Because before we shall be looking at how to solve it, let us know the causes that are the reasons why there are conflicts in relationships. I'll be back shortly. God bless you.
Every day, the world wakes up to you. Millions of people are getting ready for you. For shopping, travel expenses, utility bills, trade, and commerce. If we all have wishes, then what is your financial transaction wish?
I'd like to have a choice.
I'd like convenience.
I'd like to pay for goods and services on the go.
I'd like to pay utility bills on the go. Out of credit and data, buy some mobile top-up, still on my phone. Oops, lights out, I'll buy some EDSA, still on my phone.
I'd like to make payment from my account to another account through my mobile phone.
As a CEO of a company, I would like my staff to receive their salaries through bulk e-payment without the risk of transporting cash.
Rokel Commercial Bank Simcopo does it all.
Rokel Commercial Bank Simcopo. Think of it as
money when you're close to home and when you're away from home for unexpected expenses, and money for those times when cash fails.
If you can dream it, you can become it. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it.
Rokel Commercial Bank Simcopo is all you need.
Yes, welcome back. If you've been following our discussion, we are talking about solving conflict in relationship. Basically, how we can solve conflict in our relationships without creating a bigger one. And so please, the numbers are on the screen. You would like to ask a question or make a comment, please, you are free to do on the number 088, the free cell number 88998326. You can send a text on the WhatsApp if you're on WhatsApp, or regular text, and then the orange 079619811. Now, in continuation to the subject solving conflict in our relationships, what are the issues that causes conflict? Firstly, the Bible says in Luke chapter 1 verse 17, Jesus said to his disciples, it is impossible but that offenses will come. It is natural for offense to come. In a human relationship, where human beings exist, where two people come together in partnership or in relationship, Jesus said it is impossible for offense not to come. So it's natural, it's inevitable, it's a normal thing for offense to come. But he said, woe unto him through whom the offense comes. So woe unto him through whom the offenses will come. So if it will come, what are the things that causes offenses to come? What are the causes? What are the most common hot buttons that sparks issues in a relationship? Number one, when your partner or the person you are in relationship with chooses to spend time with others or doing an activity instead of spending time with you, it can cause problem. That is the person you are in love with, the person you are married with, makes a choice to spend time with others, more time with others, or more time on other activities and less time with you. As long as time is not spent together in your relationship, it can never grow stronger. It can never get better. And so in many marriages, one of the problems you will hear from most women, my husband doesn't have time for me, or my wife doesn't have time for me. And for those who are trusting God to get married, you hear he is too busy in other things. He does not create time for the relationship. It does not create time. So it is a major cause to conflict, to disagreement, to argument, to heated debate, and all of that in a relationship. Number two, what are the causes? When your partner checks your phone, and when he checks your phone, he raises issues based on the discoveries he made or she made. Probably he is not comfortable with your relationship or your proximity with a particular person. And then over time, he has given you a counsel, please don't get too close with this person, for reasons best known to your wife or your husband. And now, if the person now gets into your phone and then finds that, oh, you are conversing, perhaps calling the person over 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, and or messages that you're not meant to send, words that languages that you're not meant to use, it has caused a lot of problems. I'm not saying that it is right to check your husband's phone, or wrong not to check his phone. As a matter of fact, the two have become one, and so there's nothing one should hide. And if you are open to get married, from that point you should begin to practice transparency. Your wife should access your phone at will, and your husband should access your phone at will without password or codes and all of that, or restrictions. Most times when people begin to place restrictions with their phones as to who should touch it, who should not touch it, mostly in the context of relationship, you can begin to suspect unfaithfulness, that there is something he or she is probably doing with the phone that he does not want you to see. And these issues, as minor as they are, could cause problem. I have heard of issues stemming from such minor issues that have resulted into divorce matters, resulted into marital crisis, has resulted into the termination of certain relationships that had a future. So now there is a wisdom that needs to be applied in this kind of situation. So in case you're watching me now and all of the problems you've been having in your marriage is centered around phones, your phone, what your husband sees in your phone, what your wife sees in your phone, or the kind of calls you make, there is a wisdom that you need to handle it. Firstly, one of the things that kind of situation is creating, or has created, or is pointing you to an issue of insecurity. Issue of insecurity. Lack of trust. So you are just focusing on the issue of the phone, but the baseline is that trust is a problem. Trust is a problem. So instead of you focusing on the phone, don't touch my phone, why did you check my phone? What you should look at, does he trust me? Does she trust me? So build the trust so that he may not have the need to check your phone, or she may not have the need to look at your phone to know the person you are talking with and who you are conversing with. So build the trust. But most times we look at the problem than looking at the cause, the effect of the problem, rather than looking at the cause of it. Please, as I'm sharing, if you have questions to ask or contributions to make, you can please send those contributions or ask those questions using the number on your screen. What are the issues that causes conflict in a relationship. Now, this has to do with married couples. When you deny your partner sex in the context of marriage. No, not in the context of boyfriend and girlfriend. As far as you are not yet married, the Bible says marriage is honorable. The bed undefiled. Outside marriage, the bed should be kept holy. So in the context of marriage, when you deny your partner sex, and if the person you are dating or you are in marriage with is not matured enough, and even if they are matured, there is a dimension it can get to where he will lose patience and then he will react. And this has been the cause of most conflict in marriages. You're a married man watching me, you know what I'm talking about. Or a married woman watching me, you know what I'm talking about. Now, we are not talking about the details of that today, because that also has its own wisdom solution that is needed in handling it. So the guy might be looking at, oh, she's denying me of sex. Probably she's doing something funny. Or he does not have time for me. Probably he is doing something funny. But there are things that you are just looking at the effect. There is a cause. There is a cause. But this can cause conflict. Number 4, what are the issues that causes conflict in a relationship? When your partner is very abusive. Very abusive. There are couples that are very abusive. There are people who are dating who are very abusive. They don't know how to talk. They can insult. They can cheat people. They can resort to calling their partner names. Sometimes they can abuse verbally. Abusive. When your partner is abusive, verbal abuse, it can cause conflict. And for many relationships, the reason why conflict is there, issues are there, problems are there, because of this. Yes, when your partner is unfaithful, maybe you discover that the person is not sincere with you. You are very sincere with her, or you are very sincere with him, but along the line, you are discovering that he is not sincere. He tells you this, and you discover that he is not sincere with you. Unfaithfulness, insincerity, on financial matters, on integrity matters, on places where he tells you that, oh, I'm going here, and you discover he did not go or she did not go. At the end of the day, it results to an argument, and it becomes heated, and then the peace or the love is being affected. When your partner is unfaithful, not sincere, what are the issues that causes conflict in the relationship? When your partner is inconsiderate, and this is in the context of marriage, inconsiderate to household responsibilities. The other day, I just stumbled on a post somebody made on Facebook that God did not give an instruction biblically in scriptures to the wife to do domestic responsibilities, that it should be a shared issue. Well, I don't want to go into that. Logically, you can say so. And that is true. Even though culture has taught us that the woman should be grossly involved in domestic duties, house choices and all of that. But also, as the man, there are times you may need to be considerate. Considerate to household responsibilities by handling them when you are at home. There are some things you can do as the father of that house, as the husband to that woman, just to help her and enhance her. There are some basic household responsibilities that you must do that does not undermine your authority as the man. I am a pastor by his grace. I am a father by his mercies. All the other things I do in my house, I do them even when my wife is there, or when my kids are there, or when the people who are living with me are there. There are things I do it. I do it as an act of service. An act of service to the people that I love. You will agree with me. There are many times for us who have children, when you return from work, your child will come either to help you hold your bag, and then he will try to help you remove your shoes or remove your stockings and all of that. What is he doing? He's rendering services to you because he loves you. So there are things we do in the house, mostly for the men. We don't do them because basically it's our responsibility to do. But we do them as an act of service. And what fuels that service? Love. So, being a man doesn't mean that if time permits you and if you have the opportunity, you cannot do some household responsibilities. Now, when your partner is very, very inconsiderate, does not help with the cleanup, leaves the toilet seat dirty and all of that, there are certain things that he should do as the man or the woman, and he's not doing it. Oh, obviously, it will end up in argument. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do this? So, and most families have had issues. Probably on the paste or the brush, you're meant to put the brush here, or you're meant to put the paste this way, and all of that, and then the man feels, oh, he's an authority figure. Should you tell me what to do? It has resulted into heated argument, and has resulted most times in a fight where wisdom and maturity is lacking. So you can find this kind of situation in most marriages. You find it. Yes. What are the causes? That's the issue that causes conflict in a relationship. Please, if you have your questions to ask, you can send those questions or those texts on the number on the screen, 088998 326, that's on WhatsApp, or on your orange 079 619 811. What are the issues that causes conflict in a relationship? When your partner is physically self-absorbed, that is, the person worries so much about themselves, about their appearance, focuses so much on, like for the women, on their hairstyle, spends so much on clothing. They are so self-centered. And sometimes, even though you may place some priority on these issues, but if your husband is raising concern about you living a self-centered life, you are too worried about how you look, too worried about your hairstyle, you're too worried about things that are just around your life, then you need wisdom to approach it, to minimize those concerns raised. And if you lack the wisdom as to how to respond when these concerns are raised, it might result into problems. So you must know it. What are the issues that causes conflict in a marriage or relationship? When your partner ignores or rejects your feelings, ignores your feelings or reject your feelings. When your feelings are being ignored, when your emotions are being rejected, when the person you're in love with does not express emotions and doesn't show appreciation of your person. For instance, you're going through the whole day and your husband goes to work, you will never pick up his phone to call. Or your wife goes to do something and the whole of the day she will not pick up a phone to call. It doesn't call, doesn't say I love you. There are men who lack the capacity. Tell him, Lily, that was when I love you was always in his mouth. But after he got her married and now the woman is in his house, he's hard to say I love you. So the woman is dying of love. the need for love. Emotions are not shown. Her feelings are being ignored. She's raising concern about how she feels, or what she needs from you, what she's expecting from you as an emotional person, and you are trivializing it, you are treating it with contempt, you are taking it for granted. It's obviously going to result into issues. Now I'm going to go on a short break. We'll come on this because this is very important. I know somebody who's out there is watching, and you are learning, so that you can identify. And all of these issues I'm raising, there are wisdom principles to handle them, so that it can minimize the level of friction and contention in the relationship. Stay tuned, I'll be back as we continue in this discussion.
Welcome to Mercy TV, channel 29, the most watched and the fastest growing faith-based channel, transmitting live from our studios in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and to nations of the world. Mercy TV broadcasts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with real-time live streaming. Mercy TV brings together the best in Christian television. Mercy TV covers life-transforming teachings, preachings, educational and biblical cartoons for children and young adults, inspirational movies, dramas, live news and current affairs, talk shows, breaking news with expert analysis. You can access Mercy TV channel 29 on Meadowsat, Satcon, and Facebook. Mercy TV empower people and transform lives through radio and television. For advert, airtime, orange money donation, call +232 769 78161 or WhatsApp +44 7472 379 179. Mercy TV, where everybody is somebody.
Wow, welcome back. Welcome back. I believe that what I'm sharing is a blessing to you. And we've been looking, in case you just tune in, we've been looking at solving conflict in relationship. We've established what conflicts are, and we are now on the causes of conflict. I can continue to mention points after points, endless points of what causes conflict. I'll just mention one or two more, and then we shall look at how to solve it, because that is the essence of this talk. What are the things that causes conflict in a relationship? When your partner is very possessive or very jealous and very dependent. That is the person you are in love with or in marriage or married to demands too much attention, demands for too much attention or time. And the person acts jealous. The person is too possessive. It can cause problems. Also, when your partner has a personality habit, this is just the makeup of the person. There are certain characters that people exhibit are hereditary. Some of them, they are inherent in them. Some of them are things that society has impacted them with. Some is a product of their character, is a product, most times, product of the quality of people around you or the kind of people around you. And so there are people who have personality problems. And so problems where they feel they are better off than whoever they are in love with. So they treat their partner with so much of despise, claiming having a sense of superiority. They treat the person they are in love with as if the person is stupid. Yeah, the person is not intelligent. They only feel that what they know and what they see, that is what is right. They are very arrogant, very proud, full of themselves. Yes, these are some of the things we're talking about. So when somebody has a personality habit, something that is known for the person, something that is part of the person's life, and the person is not doing anything to work on it, to improve on his character, what will happen is that that relationship will suffer, will consistently have crisis. And if you are in love with such a person who has a personality problem, and you have not understood how to deal with such persons, I tell you, you will always have problems. Well, as a matter of fact, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. We all have our individualities. We all have our makeups and mentalities and approach to life and things. So when you are in relationship with somebody, you need to understand who the person is and understand certain features of his personality and know how to cope with it or walk away from it. So when your partner has a personality habit that they are not working on, and you are not also trying to understand, it can result to conflict in relationship. Now, what are the effects of conflict or stress on a relationship? When the level of conflict, misunderstanding, argument, heated debate, quarrels, and if it degenerates into fighting, when it continues, what are the effects of it? It can lead to a significant amount of stress and emotional turmoil on the relationship between the partners. So there is so much of stress on the relationship. And there can be also an ongoing stress which will affect the well-being of both partners. So any relationship where the conflict, the misunderstanding increases, I can tell you that the conflict is going to affect the individuals in the relationship, and it's going to affect the relationship itself. It's going to affect the well-being of those in the relationship, and not just the well-being of those in the relationship, but it's going to affect the relationship itself. It can lead to anxiety, it can lead to depression, where somebody lacks the capacity to sleep. There are people who have had sleepless nights as a result of an issue in their relationship. He couldn't sleep, she couldn't sleep because they had argument and tension. Please, if you're trying to call, we cannot take up calls now. All you need to do, you want to be part of the program, send your text messages to the numbers on your screen. Send your text messages on WhatsApp or regular text message, and let us know what are your views on what we are discussing, or questions you may want to ask, or contributions that you might want to make. Please do that. We can't pick calls right now. Send your text messages or ask your questions. Now, I was talking about the effect. What are the effects of conflict in a relationship? It leads to unhappiness. Unhappiness in the relationship. And those in the relationship will not be satisfied unless satisfaction. The man is not satisfied, the woman is not satisfied, or couples who are trusting God, a brother and a sister who are hoping to get married, there can be no satisfaction and there can be no happiness. And when it continues, it will result to emotional or physical withdrawal from everything. Because nobody will love to be in a relationship that does not give them joy, happiness, and peace. So as a result of the conflict, the misunderstanding on a consistent basis, they begin to withdraw from themselves. So if your husband has been withdrawing from you, if your wife has been withdrawing from you, something could be the cause. The issues you are having could be the reason why of this emotional withdrawal. So you can't find joy working together. You lack interest in working together because of the issues. And also it can lead to various types of insecurities. So there is no security in the relationship. And any relationship that lacks security lacks an enviable destiny. Because it is the security that you feel within the relationship that guarantees the destiny of it. Am I communicating? I believe what I'm sharing is blessing somebody. So now, looking at solving conflict in relationship, How can I solve conflict? Maybe you've been having misunderstanding in your marriage, having misunderstanding with the person that you are dating, and now you don't know what to do. Pastor, you've spoken a lot. What do I do in solving it? How can I handle it? How can I solve conflict in my relationship without creating a bigger one? There are a few things I will share. If I'm not able to exhaust it, we might probably continue next week. Number one, you need to understand firstly the makeup of your partner. Understand his makeup, his personality. Understand who the person is. I would like you to know, please listen to this, that your wife, if you're a man watching me now, or the woman in your life that you want to marry, that person is highly emotional. And if you're a woman watching me, your husband, or the man in your life hoping to get married to, is highly analytical by default. By default, a woman is emotional. A man is critically on an emotional level. Every woman feels, relates, responds to issues deeply on an emotional level. Contrary to the man who responds to things from an analytical perspective, rationally, critically, logically. Now for the woman, those good emotions are necessary to help keep the warmth of the family. They are necessary to keep the family in love. Whereas for the man, his nature by default is necessary for decision making, for leadership, for guidance, for direction in the family. Now with this in mind, you have to understand that for a woman, if let's say she's asking for something, a woman needs money, and then you are telling her the money I have has been budgeted for something else. From her emotional makeup and configuration, she will reason and look at that response that my husband doesn't love me, he doesn't care for me, because she responds to things from an emotional level. Whereas what you are saying sounds very logical. It's left with her to understand, or for you to make her understand what you've said, and for her to understand it. But most times, she might respond to it emotionally by meaning or saying you don't care much for her. And then for a man, if you are trying to express yourself on things that he wants you to do and you are not doing it the way he wants you to do it, he sees it as disrespect. So how do you manage this kind of situation? Or your response to your wife has been interpreted to be lack of care and lack of love that causes issues. What do? Let your wife know. In as much as you are not responding to her based on what she demands for part-time, that you still care for her, that you still love her. A woman wants to feel the love and the care of her husband always. And for the man, in as much as you might not be doing the thing that he wants you to do and he sees it as disrespect, let him know that in the midst of all of this, you still see her as your head and you still respect her. You still respect him, rather. You still see him as your head and you still respect him. This is very, very important. Very important. She has to know that even though you are not doing the things she wants you to do, that in the midst of all of that, being an emotional being, that you care for her, you are concerned about her, and you love her, and you're going to do all you can to make her comfortable. And for the man, let him know that you cannot challenge his authority. That you see him as your head. You value him, and you have respect for him. Now, so understanding the makeup of your husband, the makeup of your wife, it's going to help in how you solve your issues. So you respond to your issues with love, and you respond to your issues and submission. Number two, when you are, how do you solve conflict? By not creating a bigger one. Number two, when you have got some real issues to deal with, take out some moment before discussing it to pray. Most marital issues and problems are wisdom problems. In case you're watching me, you've been having problems in your marriage. It's a wisdom problem. The problem has lingered because you lack the wisdom that it takes to handle it. And God is a God of wisdom. So when you pray for His wisdom. You pray for His grace. You take out time to pray and ask God to give you both wisdom on how to handle it. But many times, the prayer aspect is what we resort to last. We resort to trying to look at the issue, responding emotionally with anger. We want to justify ourselves, we want to defend ourselves, and that is the wrong approach. Prayer is a master key. When you pray, it's an expression to God of how dependent you are on Him to handle the issues of your lives, including your marriage. Prayerlessness is an expression of a life of independence, that you can succeed without God, that you don't need God in your life, that you can do things without Him. So you need to pray. So you take out time to pray. What do you pray about? Wisdom. Wisdom on how to handle the issue. And then in the process, you hold your hands together, probably while praying. Why do you hold your hands together? You do that in reminder of yourself that you are together. When you hold the hand of your wife or hold the hand of your husband together in discussing over an issue, it is symbolic to communicate the unity, to communicate that you guys are together. You can't be sitting somewhere and then your face is turned in one direction, and then he's sitting somewhere and his face is turned in another direction, and then you are not looking at yourself. No, it will not help to solve the issue. It won't help to solve the issues. It will not help to solve the issues. So you must pray, and as much as you can, hold your hands together to remind yourself of the unity you have as a couple. Number three, when you disagree, avoid using abusive languages. Avoid using one statement like, I am sick and just tired of you. You might be saying the truth, or that might be the truth of the situation, but don't say it. When you make such statements to your spouse or to the person you are in relationship with, you are not trying to solve the issue, but rather you are escalating it. When you make statement like, I can't understand you. Why are you so difficult to understand? So you must be careful of the kind of words you use. Making statement like you are very wicked, you are heartless, you are proud, you are arrogant, you don't want to listen, you are too stubborn. You know what I'm talking about. The kind of words we use when we have an issue with our partners and the people we're in love with. There are certain words that you are not meant to use. Using those words, you are not solving the problem by those choices of words. Rather, you are escalating it. Don't say things that does not end the problem. Don't say things that will increase the problem. So when you disagree, avoid using words that are hurtful. Number four, deliver your argument without a raised voice. This is very important. You can have a disagreement on an issue and not quarrel over it. A man and his wife can be in the room and they have diverse views on an issue, but without quarreling. You can have a misunderstanding and not quarrel. Misunderstanding means lack of understanding. So you are understanding him. So the lack of understanding should not result into quarrel. Should not result into insult or fighting. Should not result into you raising your voice and shouting at each other. How do you solve issues, conflict without creating a bigger one? Deliver your points, express yourself without a raised voice. When your voice is raised, it signals anger. And anger will provoke defensiveness. When your voice is raised, it provokes, it triggers, it is a signal that you are angry. And when you are angry, what happens? You become defensive. Also, the person that you're expressing such anger to feels that you are just trying to defend yourself. So, all you need to do, state your views respectfully and calmly. And if you are still not understanding yourselves, you can postpone the conversation for another time, for an appropriate time where emotions are being calmed down, and then you can now think well to discuss the matter. If you don't know this, a little issue can be escalated, can grow into something bigger that you don't expect. Number 5. I mentioned 2 or 3 more and I will honor you here. Number 5. How do you solve conflict in a relationship without creating a bigger one? Don't focus on a problem to solve. Focus on a person to be loved or a person to be submitted to. Don't focus on a problem to be solved. When your focus is on the problem that you want to solve, and not focus on the person that you should love, what happens? It will lead to more problems. I'm running out of time. But this point is very important. I'm going to close with this point. Don't focus on a problem to be solved, but focus on a person to be loved. A person to be loved. A person to be loved. Focus on loving the person. Focus on submitting to the person. Focus on how you can be submissive to your husband, submissive to the person you are engaged to get married to. Focus on showing love and concern. I tell you, by the time that becomes your focus, love becomes your focus, the problem will die naturally. And I pray that the God of heaven will give you wisdom on how to handle these issues in your lives, in the name of Jesus Christ. I believe that my time with you this evening has been a blessing. The few things that I've shared has blessed you, and you will never remain the same again. My name is Evangelist Idris Joshua Wright Samura. I'm the senior pastor of the Ministry of Greater Evangelism World Crusade, located at number 8 Edel Street, off Campbell Street. Where is Edel Street? When you get to St. John, you are coming up Campbell Street. The first junction by your right, where you have this restaurant, Lovetta's Kitchen. When you get to Lovetta's Kitchen, you turn by your right. Walk all the way down. It is called Edel Street. That street is called Edel Street. Number 8 Edel Street. And tomorrow, which is Sunday, I want to use the opportunity to invite you. In fact, this month of July has been our family month, where we've been teaching family and friends Sundays. 4 Sundays of family and friends, we've been teaching powerful truths that have been blessing families. And above all, the move of the Spirit has been very strong. I want to use the opportunity to invite you tomorrow. To all of our viewers, those who've been following us on our TV program every day, and also the singles and the marriage show, I want to invite you. Are you looking for a church you would like to worship tomorrow? Are you looking for a place where you can be taught the word of God? Are you going through a challenge, a difficulty? Are you looking for a pastor that can pastor you? Are you trusting God for cancer? Are you having marital crisis, relationship crisis? Are you having conflict that have separated your marriage or is affecting your marriage? Are you trusting God for deliverance? Are you trusting God for the fruit of the womb? Are you believing God to shift your life from the level where you are to the next level? Are you trusting God for an encounter? I want to invite you tomorrow to attend any of our services. We run 2 services every Sunday. The first service is from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, 1 hour 30 minutes, 8:30 to 10. And then the second service is from 10:30 to 12. To everyone watching me, please note this. The first service, 8:30 to 10, and the second service, 10:30 to 12. I want you to come. As you come, I'm trusting God for you. The Lord will touch you. If I see your face, the hand of God will come on you. The grace of God will touch your life. Something mighty will happen for you, and your life shall never remain the same again in the name of Jesus. And to all those who have watched me, who have one, will bring peace to your marriage, peace to your relationship, in the name of Jesus Christ. And whatever you are believing God for today, as you connect your faith with me, I decree it is released for you. May the Lord give you a testimony. May God give you a miracle. May the Lord turn things around for you. May the Lord bring you out of that problem, that difficulty, and may God grant you peace. In Jesus' name I pray. And if you are not saved, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Just receive him into your heart today, and your life shall